summer, that means road trips, and you don't want to get stuck in the gas station with your kids begging for candy.
Please, pretty please.
And only junk options available. So I have a prep for you to stay organized and healthy and eat on the road so that you can feel good when you finally get to where you're going. We need to put our own oxygen masks on first, so I'm starting with my mom meal, which is a collard green wrap with homemade hummus, a massaged kale salad with some lemon garlic dressing, pickled red onion, tahini sauce, and fresh veggies. And we're gonna wrap it all up like a burrito so it's easy to eat on the road. First step is making the kale. You're gonna cut out the rib of the kale after you've washed it, get that hard stem out, and then turn your kale and just slice thin ribbons. Put it in the bowl. I just have the ribbons of kale, and then I made a really easy dressing just with olive oil, garlic that I steeped in there. I didn't even mince it. I just kind of crushed the cloves and lemon juice and some salt. That's it. So I'm gonna shake that up, pour some on the kale, a little bit of extra salt, and then I'm just gonna get my hands in there and squish it all together. Kale's pretty sturdy, so it's not gonna get all gross like spinach might if it was left for a long time, or lettuce if it's already been dressed in advance. And if you have any extra kale left over, you can add some slivered almonds, maybe some Parmesan cheese, and you have a great little salad. I actually don't like road trips at all.
Can you help me open this? Oh.
Yes, I'll help you.
Help me open.
Please. So this is a test for me because we've never done one that's this long. It takes 7 hours to go from Vegas to Yosemite, and that's without any hiccups. So we're gonna see how everybody does. You can see that the kale basically got smushed down to almost nothing. And then I'm gonna take one of these collard greens, and to prep for this, just to make the collard greens a little bit softer and easier to roll, I took the fresh raw green and I just sort of sliced off the thicker part, the top of the stem, blanched the whole thing in boiling water, salted water for about 20 seconds, and now it's nice and pliable, and hopefully my burrito will roll up pretty well. Starting with the hummus. This is gonna be my glue and base and protein in the wrap. I'm gonna keep everything kind of in the center so that when I wrap it, I'm not left with a bunch of stuff oozing out the side. I've got some tiny slivered carrots that I'm gonna put in there, some cucumber, pickled red onion. Drain this off a little bit because we don't want extra juice in our wrap. But this is gonna add some nice bite and crunch. Let me show you how to cut a pepper like a pro. We're gonna cut off the sides, and then this little part at the bottom, I call the chef's bite. I usually just eat that one. Then if there's any seeds left in here, you can just kind of tap them out and they'll come out in the trash. And then you'll cut off the ends so that you don't have these funny little bumps on it. And then cut out the pith, that little, or the rib, that little white part. And then you can slice your pepper. And so now this looks pepper like pro. All right, so put our peppers on there. Some pepper and salt along the way here. And then finally we'll finish with the kale salad and a little bit of tahini. There's tahini in the hummus, of course, but it's nice to have a little bit of extra. And this sauce is really easy to just kind of put on the top. All right, now for the test. Let's see if I can roll this up without everything coming out. Hold on, hold on. Gotta just get this a little bit more compact in the center. And then the rolling should come easily. Okay, look at that cute little parcel. You actually don't even need to cut this, but I will cut it so that you can see how the inside looks. Doesn't that look delicious? I made my mom meal, threw some pita chips in there. I'm definitely gonna get into these muffins. They're actually really good with the apple butter. I've got some stuff now for the kids. I made these cute little like celery bugs, totally overdone. Just do the ants on the log. That was one of my favorite things my mom ever made. It was just the celery, the peanut butter, and the raisins. And then I don't know if I overthought this, but I got these Snackle boxes on Amazon, and they're super cute. They come in individual stainless steel containers that hold a surprising amount of food, and each of them have their little lids, so you keep everything together, and then a lid that goes over the whole thing. And I even got one of them with, let's see if I can, product defect. I even got this one that comes with the cooler, and the whole tray just fits inside. There's an ice pack, and then you can just zip the whole thing up and have it in a little carry-on tote. I have the homemade hummus that I did a video on, so if you're interested in the best homemade hummus, then check that out. I used the Thermomix this time. If you don't know what that is, I have a video on that as well, but the Thermomix for that worked a lot better than the blender I found. These are my homemade granola bars, and I adapted that recipe so that can also be made in the Thermomix. My idea behind having this whole little array of various treats is that I can dish up whatever the kids might be in the mood for at the moment without them having to commit to like a huge snack bag. I can add some little trail mix and maybe some fruit and whatever else, maybe a little muffin. And all right, that's a little bit stingy, but I think that if I can just pass this to the back for them and then just be able to throw this out, that might be pretty handy. What are some of the things that you like to do for your road trips? What do you put together? I'm trying to think of everything. I am bringing paper bags just so I have somewhere to like put the dirty spoon when I use the hummus or the apple butter. And then I thought they could also, you know, double as a paper puppet in case of emergency, along with some of the other activities that I brought to do in the car, because even the iPad gets old after a while. I'm also gonna throw in some regular snacks from the snack drawer and see what I've got left over at the end of the week so that I can turn that into sandwiches. Am I overdoing? I mean, national parks have pretty crappy food, and I just wanna make sure that we've got enough to eat that we want to eat for late night in the hotel and on the road driving through the park, in addition to whatever snacks we accumulate on the way. What do you think? Do I have enough? Too much? I don't want to have to stop any more than I need to. I've got an electric vehicle, which is great, but I want to make that charging stop the only stop that we make on the way, because otherwise it can get to be a really long road trip, even longer than is already anticipated.